What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Today I've got for you 4 classic entitled people stories for you, which you're gonna love. I'll give you a brief overview of what you can expect from each one before we get into the first. Story 1 is the title and the thumbnail. A guy, fortunately, wins a pretty hefty jackpot on a cruise. Then his entitled brother gets involved and demands half. Story 2 involves an entitled customer that demands a refund for a product that he bought 12 years ago. Story 3 is an example of what can happen when you're kind to an entitled co-worker who then uses your goodwill and graciousness and just pushes it too far. And then finally, story 4 is all about an entitled roommate. So without further ado, sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's get into the first story. I won a jackpot on a cruise. Now my brother wants me to give him his fair share. Just as the title says, I won a small jackpot on a cruise a week ago. A little over 10k. My brother was with me when I won. After getting the hand pay, I gave him $2,000. Afterwards, he was passive aggressive for the next day. On the last day, he proceeded to demand his remaining $3,000 because he believes we should have split it evenly because he didn't win. I reminded him it was my money I put into the machine. Why did he expect to get anything at all? I told him he should be grateful for what I gave him, as I didn't have to give him anything. He's since been passive aggressive again now that we've gotten back. I've also heard from mutual friends that he's been calling me greedy and saying that I'm selfish. Okay, and there we go, short but sweet. The thing that I don't understand is you've been super kind already, OP, and said, you know what, like obviously I got a bit lucky here. Here, have $2,000. I put my money in, but you can have $2,000. I'll take 8. Realistically, I mean, all the money should be mine, but you can have 2k because I'm a nice guy. But no, your brother just goes crazy and says, all right, yeah, thanks for the 2k, mate. But actually, because I'm related to you and I was also there that day, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what happened here. Maybe it was on a cruise arcade or something and you were both playing like arcade games, fruit machines, whatever. Because he was next to you or whatever, or his family, he deserves half. Make it make sense. It doesn't. It can't. Now for our second story. Entitled customer mad we won't refund him for an item he bought 12 years ago. So, I work at a call center for a certain members only bulk store chain, specifically in the online branch. One of the perks we offer our customers is an almost comically lenient return policy. We started limiting certain electronics to 90 days from the date of delivery back in 2016. This will be important later, and our returns team needs to look over and approve any returns for orders over 2 years old, but by and large, we'll accept anything. I like this policy. It's a lot easier for me to just process a return than it is to argue with the customer for 20 minutes about how, no, sir, it's not our fault that you didn't think to open the box until well after 90 days, and now the computer doesn't work. I can get you over to warranty, but beyond that, my hands are tied. The customers like this policy because it means they basically can return stuff whenever they want, within reason. Returns usually approves the 2+ year request unless it's something egregiously dumb. The key word there is within reason. It's early into my shift. I don't think I'd even had my first break at this point. Phones are dead at this time of the day, as is typical once the holiday order rush and the post-holiday return rush subsides. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out what the F 71 down on my crossword puzzle is when a call comes through. I snap to attention, give my spiel, and I ask what the guy needs. Nobody came to pick up the stove I'm returning. They delivered the new one and took the gas range, but I still have an electric one to return. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir. I'd be happy to see what's going on. I checked the logistics scheduler. The only return this guy has is for the one that got picked up. I ask if he has the order number for the item being returned. He doesn't. I pull up his order history and I ask him when he ordered the item. For context, the order history we see on our end only goes back to about 2017. I think August of 2013? So, it's gonna be one of those calls, huh? I'm not looking forward to having to fart around in the DOS system to find this guy's order number, but at this point I'm figuring he just had an old phone number on the order, and that's why his pickup isn't in our scheduler with the rest of his orders. After about 20 minutes of checking every single membership number on file in our DOS system, the guy claimed he'd never changed his membership number at any point, he was wrong, and multiple assertions of, the last people just pulled it right up. That's BS. Not only do you not have the order number, but it's tied to your wife's membership number from over 20 years ago, and it can't even be pulled up with your info at all. Believe me, I freaking tried. I eventually find the order. The return is cancelled because our returns team didn't think refunding a 12-year-old stove because it stopped working after 12 years of no issues with it, judging by our records, is in the spirit of our return policy, since it's highly unlikely the issue is caused by a manufacturing defect at this point. I could go on about planned obsolescence and how things used to be built to last, but unfortunately 12 years is honestly a pretty hefty shelf life for a home appliance these days, and it's definitely well out of any warranty we have. I explain this to the customer as gingerly as I can, and he demands to know why we didn't tell him this years ago. I'm grandfathered into your 90-day policy, aren't I? When did that change? Why didn't you tell me years ago that you weren't going to accept my return anymore? I need to escalate this right now. I try to explain to him that these sorts of situations are handled on a case-by-case basis, and it's less that there's a hard limit now, and more that a 12-year-old appliance starting to have issues can't really be considered a manufacturer defect that we're obligated to refund you for. He's not having it, and he asked for a soup. You got it, sir. I kick him over to my supervisor, who also is like, a stove not working after 12 years isn't really something we can blame on the manufacturer. It's not like we sold him a lemon and move on. But not before he gives me this gem. If I'd known you wouldn't accept my return now, I would have returned this years ago. So he's basically just admitting he wanted us to pay him to haul away his junk, rather than actually thinking his stove reaching the end of its lifespan was a manufacturer defect. Dear God, I'm so glad this job pays well. See, the problem with people like this entitled customer, is that it ruins things for the rest of us. Like, this is an amazing returns policy, and I personally love companies like this. And I've got an example of something that happened to me myself. Like, it's just great when companies understand that, you know, it doesn't have to be a set date, 730 days or whatever it is exactly for something to go wrong, and then only then, you know, if it's 731 days you can't get a refund, 730 you can, whatever, or the 90-day return policy that a lot of companies have, whatever. Like, having goodwill and being like, you know what, we trust our customers not to take the mick. If there is a legitimate issue and it's outside of the standard times that other companies have for their returns policy or whatever, it's fine, don't worry. Like, we would rather deal with that, get you a new one, or hopefully just have you as a customer for life, rather than sort of screw you out of however much money you paid on a product just because you didn't return it in time, or something happened to it outside of the 90 days or whatever. Like, I love that. It shows trust in a customer base, and I'm more likely to shop with that brand or continue being a fan of that brand for my life, rather than just a one-off purchase. I've been screwed over by a lot of companies, right, where you miss the end of a free trial by a day or something and you have to pay the full amount and they won't refund you. I don't think that makes sense in the long term. However, because of people like this, there aren't that many companies that do this stuff. And there's a reason why, you know, ASOS, for example, have just recently or last year, they've changed their refund policy where you could refund everything. Now they're saying, no, there's actually a limit because people are abusing it. Similar here, if people start abusing this sort of thing, it's just going to not be anywhere. I mean, it's uncommon anyway, but now no one's going to do it if people abuse it like this. Now, thankfully, you didn't give him a refund, which is good. But I don't know, if more people did it, you'd probably have to stop this policy, which is a shame. Now for our third entitled people story. Don't extend favors to co-workers. This happened when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I live in Philadelphia, and my company gave us the day off if we planned to attend the parade. My plan was to see the parade with my roommate, hop in the car with her after, and drop her at her mum's in New Jersey on my way to my mum's in New York. The day before the parade, I was in a Teams meeting with some co-workers when this girl, we'll call her Juniper, mentioned she wanted to go to the parade, but would have to travel from Jersey to Philadelphia and then from Philadelphia to New York to do so. Now, she and I are friendly, but we're not friends. However, for some reason, I decided to extend a favor. And I mentioned to her that depending where in New York, I could just drop her off on my way to my mum's, since I was planning on going there anyway. I also mentioned we would just have to make a quick pit stop in Jersey to drop my roommate off. I asked her where she would need to be dropped off. She tells me Times Square. Technically on my way, but I'm only going past the city, not through it, not to mention all the tolls. She tells me this without offering to help pay the tolls. I tell her the best I could do is drop them at a train station close to the outskirts. She told me that would be awesome and that she'd let me know if she ended up attending the parade or not. Next morning of the parade, I see a message from her asking if this other girl, let's call her Emily, could join her. I know of this girl and I've met her a few times, but I don't work with her directly. However, I know that she and Juniper are really good friends. I tell Juniper that if she and Emily are going to the same place, then that's fine. A couple of hours later, she messages me again. They're not coming to the parade, but coincidentally, the hotel they're both staying at is only 30 minutes from where I'm dropping off my roommate, and would I mind picking them up from there? Definitely told her that wasn't going to work for me and that I was sorry she was going to miss the parade. But I definitely learned my lesson. Even if we're friendly co-workers, don't extend favors to people who aren't your friends. Put "to give a mouse a cookie" on my reading list. Give them an inch and they'll take a mile. That is the moral of the story. I don't really have any co-workers that I see, day to day, right? I work from home pretty much every day. I have editor Stevo, who is up in Scotland, but obviously he's not here in my bedroom with me. But I don't have co-workers that I'm kind of friends with or friendly with that I could offer a lift to or something like that. I just have friends. But I do sort of get the difference. You want to be nice to your co-workers, but yeah, there's a difference between being friendly and being really, really good friends. And maybe OP is right. Maybe you would only do this sort of thing for a really good friend, not for a co-worker. I'd like to think you could do it for a co-worker though. I think this woman is just entitled, and I don't know what she really was expecting here, for you to just ferry her around the US and be her free Uber. It's insane. I don't know. Now for our final entitled people story. I put her out. During one of my college programs at a very popular theme park in Florida, a magical rat planet of sorts, I lived with roommates. I still do not know, even after all these years, why people do this. Why can't you just say Disneyland? It's obvious. And no one at Disneyland is going to care if this random person on Reddit has a story about their time when they were working there or whatever. What the heck? I get it if, you worked at a small company that you didn't want to name and you were anonymous on Reddit and just wanted to tell your story. But really? Disneyland, Florida, or Disney World, whatever it's called, Florida? Jesus. Anyway, let's get back into it. The program offered housing. At the time, they had 4 apartment complexes. One was for foreign college students, and the other 3 were for North American college programmers, or CPs. Each apartment came with a different price tag that they automatically snatched from our ridiculous work checks weekly. The newest and most bougie apartment came with 2 refrigerators, but it was expensive. The second most expensive was quiet and close to the foreign college student complex, and then there was the oldest one, the cheapest one, known as the party place. It was considered the hood or ghetto of CP housing. Keep in mind it had 2 pools, one with a hot tub, a gym, a tennis court, and was where the CP bus station for the carless was located. It was also in walking distance to multiple stores and restaurants. No matter what apartment we chose, we had to share rooms with one other person. So I opted to save money. I chose the cheapest apartment. I'd extended my program with a prior roommate and friend, so we decided to share rooms. I'll call her Kendra. Kendra and I met Jamie, Kelly, and Hallie, fake names. We had room for one more roommate as it was a 3-bedroom. After a month, we received our new roommate, Shonda. Shonda was older, but still in her 20s. I wonder if her surname is Paul. She also had 2 young children back in her state, a son and a daughter. We asked her, was she cool leaving her babies for a year? She explained that she'd had them young and never got to explore herself or be free. We all decided to mind our own business because it wasn't our business. Shonda meant what she said. She was definitely free. A week didn't pass where she wasn't drunk, clubbing, partying, or staying over some random dude's house. Again, we all minded our business. Shonda made friends with a girl I'll call Amanda at her job. Amanda partied hard as well. And one day, Shonda and Amanda got into a drunken brawl in an alleyway behind a club. Shonda complained to us about Amanda and her attitude. We listened but remained silent, minding our business. Now, Hallie is Muslim. Due to this, we had a rule that guests were to be announced before coming in so that she could dress appropriately if need be. Didn't matter if it was a male or female, all guests were to be announced. We all followed this except Shonda, who just randomly showed up with Amanda. She was female, so Hallie was okay, but we were all irritated. It was a Friday and they were getting ready to go out. Amanda walked in and we were confused because last we heard, her and Shonda had had a falling out. But again, we minded our business. Amanda started judging our apartment's layout, asking why we had it set up like that. We explained we enjoyed changing it up since all the apartments had literally the same decor. Shonda was in her room showering and getting dressed, while Amanda continued being rude to us in the living room. Amanda asked how to get to the faux downtown area of the magical rat planet. Jamie said, "Take the F bus. It will take you right there." Amanda replied, I know that already. I meant by car. I don't ride the bus." Jamie is the kind of person that will throw hands, and her face showed it. Jamie remained quiet though and kept typing on her laptop. Hallie asked Amanda what they had planned, and she, with an attitude, said they were going to faux downtown and then clubbing. Some other things were said that made Hallie laugh. Now, Hallie was annoying. She was very loud, boisterous. She scream-talked and laughed loudly. Most found her a lot, and though we hung out occasionally, I usually kept my distance, as I had and have severe anxiety, and she had that kind of personality that spiked it. Well, Hallie started loud laughing, I mean full-on cackling, and Amanda looked disgusted. "Oh my god, can you shut up?" Hallie didn't know what to say. My roommates and I all looked at her, and I'd had enough. I calmly but firmly spoke up. "You need to leave." "What?" "I need you to leave our apartment now." "Lol, why?" "You've literally been rude to everyone since you walked in. You need to leave now." But she's loud and annoying." "This is her home. She pays rent here, and you don't. She has a right to be loud in her home. Get out." I opened the front door and Amanda walked outside. Shonda comes running from the back asking what happened. We explain everything and I tell her that Amanda isn't allowed in the apartment anymore. The other roommates agree with this and Shonda is furious. The next day, Shonda asks for a roommate meeting where she says how we treated her friend was wrong. I asked her, didn't she herself have a fight with Amanda due to her attitude a few weeks prior? She explained that they made up. My roommates and I told her that Amanda still wasn't allowed over, as she was rude. About a week later, Amanda came over, but she stayed on the porch. She knocked, and when I answered the door, she apologized. I thanked her for the apology. She asked, was it okay if she came in now? I turned and I asked my roommates, who still said no. Shonda was angry and put in an apartment transfer a week later. She left stating that she couldn't live where her friends weren't welcome. Yeah, we didn't care. Amanda, I can tell she is like the stereotypical, what I think of as an annoying American woman. I think that is Amanda, right? Like the voice, the accent, no offense, like sort of like Hollywood accent. I don't know what you call it, like the Hills accent, where they're, I don't know what it's called as well. What's it called? Where it's like, you know, the Uncut Gems, where the last syllable of a sentence is like really grainy and gravelly. Like, so girls would talk like this. They'll go like, yeah, and I was just sitting on my door and I came across something amazing. And they're like, I think Kim Kardashian does it. They'll go, yeah, I'm doing really well. Like that. That is what I have in my mind for Amanda. That's the voice I was trying to emulate. Let me look it up. Let me see if I can find it. Actually, a comment once told me that I had it, and it really angered me. Let me see what the internet is saying. Oh, it's called vocal fry. That's it. Vocal fry. Yeah, the first video that comes up is vocal fry. What is it? Who does it? And why people hate it. And yeah, Kim Kardashian is on the thumbnail. So someone once said that I did vocal fry, and I thought, you know what? I definitely don't do that. Like, I would never, ever even attempt or even think about doing that. It's just a horrible thing to do. And I'm never going to do that in my life. So anyway, there we go. That's the end of this one, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. And if you did, and you want more right away, check out the video on screen. It would mean a lot to me. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.